Hey friend, welcome back. Super excited to have you here today for a special video called From SOS to SOS. From help, the international sign for help, to becoming a source of stability for yourself first and foremost, but also for your family. So I'm Dorit Shoshani. Welcome back. Glad to have you here for another episode. So from SOS to SOS, this has kind of been my experience in my sleep practice. People come to me screaming help and they leave feeling like a source of stability. And that to me is so beautiful. I would like to give you a taste of what that looks like so that you could see if this would be right for you. So the first thing that we want to think about when we think about becoming a source of stability is that I am in the lead. I am the parent. And so I need to be in the lead. When I let my child be in the lead, I have chaos. And if you're watching these videos, it's most likely because you have chaos, because your child is in the lead. And so just recognize, this is not about power, and this is not about I have the say and I'm gonna make the choices. And it's not about that type of a mindset. It's more naturally recognizing that the universe has a natural hierarchy in it. And so if I'm the parent and I give birth to a child, I naturally am the one who is giving the energy through me to them. That means I'm in the lead because they cannot be giving me energy. It's me who needs to be giving them energy. So hierarchy just means it's a natural way that things receive energy, comes from the top down. And that's just the way that it is naturally in our universe. So recognizing that I am in the lead, I gave birth to this child, and that means that I came first, and me and my couple came next, and then from there, the child came. And so if that's the natural hierarchy, that means that when I'm paying attention to the way that I'm running the house and the way that things are in our relationship dynamic, that I understand that that needs to be true, that there needs to be this natural hierarchy in the way that I perceive this relationship. I need to be the one who's fueling the relationship. I need to be the one who can take care of my child's needs. I need to be the one who has that broader perspective in order for me to be able to take care of what needs to be taken care of. So the first point we want to put our focus on is hierarchy, and that's natural. That's all that means, okay? We don't need to make this into something more than that, but it is very basic and very important as a first step. The next step we want to think about when we think about us becoming a source of stability is that I am the role model. I have such a privilege as a parent to be the one who can show my child, not necessarily to say to my child, but to show my child in the way that I am, in the way that I run the relationship, that they can lean on me and that I am stable enough and I'm centered enough that not every little thing is going to throw me off. And if something is difficult for my child, I can withstand that and I can be there for them and I can hold space for them. And I'm not losing my cool because they're losing their cool, or I'm not, feeling defeated because there was a little bit of a struggle around something. I am the role model. What are they observing? How are they watching? Or what are they watching? How do they perceive me? Do they perceive me as somebody who's okay, I can lean on mom. She's pretty stable right now. She's feeling confident. She's got the lead. It feels safe for me to be able to lean on her. That's important. So I think today, more than ever, we have so many messages out on social media and just everywhere you look. There's a different way to parent. They're telling you your child needs to be the one in charge and your child knows what he needs and your child should be, running the show, so to say. And it sounds right. It sounds nice too. It feels like, oh, maybe I can just kind of take a step back and just let that be. But then when we try that, and I know because I've tried that, then we experience chaos because our child has a very limited perspective. They can only see what's happening in the moment. And what's happening in the moment is not necessarily conducive to what your child needs. So your child might really, really want a piece of chocolate, but it might be time for dinner. And so as the source of stability, you recognize the need which is another fundamental part of being a source of stability, is that I can see the broader perspective. My child only sees what's happening in the moment. And so they have a very limited view of what can take place and what needs to take place. But as a parent, you do like a zoom out. You have a much broader perspective of the situation. And you can take into account not just the situation itself, but the needs of the child. And the needs of the child may be different than what they want in the moment. So they want chocolate, but they need nutrition. And so you put your focus on the need without being thrown by what your child thinks they want in that moment. So there's a big difference. I'm sure you can just see in that small, tiny example of how if a child is allowed to make decisions day in and day out, those decisions are not skillful decisions. As a parent, we have the opportunity to come in with the broader perspective and make decisions that are appropriate for fueling the relationship. And so here I gave a small example about chocolate and about nutrition, but this actually holds true for all of the needs. Okay, so let's just take a moment to recap. We said in becoming the source of stability, we want to make sure that we're paying attention to hierarchy and that the relationship is actually in line with that hierarchy as far as who's making the decisions and how we are making those decisions, which are based on needs. The next thing we want to put focus on is that I am the role model. I am privileged to be the role model. And so how am I modeling stability? How am I able to weather the difficulties, the challenges that come up? Am I thrown left and right like a leaf in the wind? Or am I stable and centered and I can weather this? It's all right. It's all right that you want the chocolate. It's okay. I know how that feels. I also want chocolate all the time. But I recognize that that's not what's going to be the best for your needs right now. You actually need nutrition. Okay? And then the third point we want to put our focus on is the fact that we as adults and as parents have a much broader perspective. We are not stuck in the moment. I mean, sometimes we are. We also want the chocolate. But when we're dealing with our children, we can gain a broader perspective about what the needs are, which is what the second part of this video is going to dive into. So let's talk about needs. Now, needs is a big, big topic. There is no way we're going to cover it in this video. But I want to let you know that in my online digital course, there is an entire module on needs, and it's extensive and it goes deep into the understanding of what our children's needs are, how we can best meet those needs. So if you're interested, I invite you to check it out. It will make a big, big, big impact in how you see your needs as a family, as an individual, and also your children's needs. So we have 5 basic needs, and I'll go over this briefly here just for the purpose of the explanation. So we have 5 basic needs. I always like to put up my hand. It just helps me remember. The first need, and these are not in any order of importance, but the first need is sleep. Maybe it is important, the most important. The second need is movement. The third need is nutrition. The fourth need is order or structure. And the fifth need is love or connection. Okay, now these non-negotiable needs, these are basic non-negotiable needs, because if those needs are not met, our body is in distress. So when you don't sleep enough, you feel irritable in the morning. It's just the way it is. You're short at work, you're short with your kids, you have no patience for anything, your appetite is off. Everything takes a toll when we don't sleep enough. So sleep is a fundamental non-negotiable need. Same with nutrition. If we're not fueling our bodies in a way that's right for us, we are going to feel irritable. And when we snack our kids all day long, or when we give them foods that are not nutritious, then you may notice that your child seems needy. Okay? So needy is not a personality trait. Believe it or not, it's not. So it's not like, oh, he's just the needy child. No, he's not just the needy child. He has needs that are not met. And when a child has needs that are not met, or not just a child, even an adult, when we as human beings have needs that are not met, our body is off. And that's just the vagus nerve. This main nerve that sits at the back of our brainstem connects to the major organs in the body. That vagus nerve acts as a warning system for the body. So when our needs are not met, the vagus nerve becomes aroused. And then it creates a low-level irritability in the body. And that becomes indication, that becomes information. As a parent who has that broader perspective we were talking about, when you notice your child is needy, then that's like the gas gauge light going off in your car. It's like, oh, low level gas. I need to get more gas. Same thing, my kid gets needy. It's like, oh, they're needy. What's the need? What needs focus? And that's where you can use your skillfulness to put focus on the need that needs taken care of. So maybe it's the need for sleep. Maybe it's the need for nutrition. Maybe it's the need for connection. Maybe we just need to connect, and maybe we just need to hold each other and to have a moment where we are together. And that would calm down the heart. We would feel like we were good again because we had that moment of connection. So we talk about nutrition. We said we need to make sure that, if there's a need for nutrition, we're fueling that need with nutrition and not seeking quiet with garbage food, because we can do that as well, right? It might be that we're not meeting the need. We're just shutting up our child. So you're like starving for nutrition. You just came home from school. Let's say he just came home from daycare. Last meal was at 11:30. At 3 o'clock, they gave him a small, tiny snack, like, I don't know, a piece of apple or something, some very small snack. And then your child comes home, but it's not time for dinner yet, because dinner's at like 5:30 or 5. But now it's only 4, but your child is really needy. If you understand this video, all of a sudden you're like, ooh, broader perspective. He's needy. I think he might need something. And then you go through the needs. So you might say, maybe he needs love. And then you give him a little bit of connection and you still notice they're needy. And then you think, nutrition. He hasn't had any nutrition since lunchtime. And these small snacks are just not cutting it. He needs to sit down. And we're not going to worry that dinner needs to be at 5, because the meal can be whenever he's hungry. So it could be even at 4 o'clock. That's okay, as long as it meets your child's need for nutrition at the right time. The next basic need is order. And order is a silly one in a way, and it's super important, because nobody thinks that order is that important. Who wants to be stuck in a box anyways, right? We don't want rigidity, and we don't want to feel like we're constantly on a schedule, because that might feel like it's too confining. But order is important for 2 reasons. Order is important for the body, because the body thrives on order. We are born in a world that has been created through order, right? The sun comes up every morning, the moon comes up every night, the seasons repeat themselves. We live in an orderly world, and our bodies are no different. They love order. So that just means, more or less, you don't need to hyper-focus now on the minutes or on the seconds, but more or less, our body is in order. It goes to bed more or less every day at the same time. It wakes up more or less every day at the same time. We have our meals more or less at the same time. It helps our body feel comfortable. In addition to what it does for the body, it also does something for the mind, because it creates a sense of predictability. And predictability helps us feel safe. So you guys know what this is like, because you guys are parents or you're adults, and so you probably even take it for granted that you know what's going to happen every day before it happens. More or less, we know. Our kids don't know, but we know. So we feel comfortable. We feel confident about how things are going to be, because we know what to expect. And when we can create this type of a situation for our children, it helps calm down their minds, because they know what to expect. So here we're talking about the mind of a child, but think about the mind of a parent. Knowing what to do next, knowing how to get through the day, knowing how to meet our child's needs, that makes me feel like a source of stability. And when I show up as a source of stability, my kids can lean on me, and they can find safety in that they don't need to be the ones who are calling the shots, and they don't need to be the ones who are figuring out when they're going to be eating or when they're going to be doing something. It's very clear that parent is in the lead and child can follow. And just that in and of itself creates us as that source of stability. And being in those shoes makes all the difference in how the dynamic plays out and how your kids feel around you. It makes them feel safe. It makes them feel like they can lean on you. And it makes you feel like you know what needs to happen and you can meet your child's needs so that everything will be more smooth. So when we're talking about going from SOS as a help, a cry for help, to SOS as source of stability, we want to make sure that we're putting focus on how I can be that source of stability for my child. How can I recognize the needs, and how can I implement what needs to happen in order for my child to be able to let go of the reins and just be able to lean on me? Because that will ultimately create a sense of safety for your child. It will create a feeling of stability for you, and that dynamic will become win-win for everybody. So if this video was insightful, was helpful, share it with a friend. And if you're still not sleeping through the night, I'm going to say it again, and I might continue saying it forever. Grab my free guide on my website, the 3 main reasons why your child is still not sleeping through the night. It will give you the pointers you need so you know where to put your focus, and we can start moving forward and talk about other topics that are of interest to you. So thank you again for being with me. I look forward to seeing you next time. See you later, guys.